Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of FoolsTown here in City Skylines 1, where last episode we built this big mega airport right now, which means passengers can travel to and from faraway lands to our city, but we've only kind of just scratched the surface. We need to level up the airport a bit more before we can start getting all the additional stuff in, but so far, so good. This plane is now taking off and it's just done an interesting turn right there. Where's it going? Is it now becoming a tornado? This is a very interesting spiral. But the mega projects have now begun, and today we're going to continue to extend our infrastructure so we can keep on growing the city. Now, in today's episode, what I want to do, boys, is I want to finalize a kind of connection, bringing this road down, which will lead over to another flyover to go all the way around. Now, I did think about doing like a highway connection system. I'm not too sure if that would be a good idea or not, or just sticking to the 4-lane road. I think a 4-lane road is probably going to be the best way to go about it. But with that, I want to sort out the train line. Now, also last episode, we kind of dedicated... actually, no, it wasn't last episode, it was the episode before. We dedicated our rail system to pretty much pushing the cargo on one side and the passengers on the other. And we've got passenger trains on the right side. Some cargo trains do use it, but when we come through, it's cargo on the left. So we could extend a double line system going all the way where passengers go into our station here. And we can do something very similar over here as well. We can kind of sort this out where cargo stays on the right, passengers on the left, as you bring a train line coming through and hopefully having a couple of train passenger stops and cargo stops to ease the cargo traffic burden throughout the city. Now, if you are enjoying this series so far, please make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. But this is going to be a bit of a confusing one because we have to designate where we want the stations before the road. The road's kind of important, but we also got to figure out what type of station, what type of train station we want to go with. Now, there is many options we can go with, and we've just got to figure out which is ultimately going to be the best one for us. Now, let me see what we've got, boys. This is all metro. That is a multi-platform metro. Does contain trains. We have the crossover train station, which is quite interesting, but we don't have any lines that are going to cross over like that. We have the old market, which is elevated, which that's pretty cool, but that might be too many tracks for your boy right now. That might be too many tracks, but then again, that could also be quite an interesting concept, and I kind of like adding it on directly outside there. Let me just see what else we've got first. We've got elevated metro. We've got more metro. Is this all metro? I can designate it to be just train stations, right? Yes. Okay, this is better. This is better. We've got ground platform train station. We got the ground bypassing station, which is quite interesting. We've actually got the ground bypassing one over by the racetrack, don't we? The ground dual one. Now, what does the dual do? 2 upline, 2 downline. We have the elevated platform train station. I don't know whether my train line needs to be elevated. It actually could be, and that's not too shabby. But then I do like the idea of that one there. Oh, I've got too many options, guys. I've literally got too many options. I got this beauty we could maybe throw in, having a nice little kind of what looks like a roundabout of parking. And obviously then we've just got like the normal historic one. So I reckon we've got this one here, which if I was to squeeze this in, I want to see how it looks. That's actually not too bad. Now, this is going to be for passengers only. And do I want it directly on this line for the monorail? I think I do, because it's going to be like a more speedier version, but we're going to bring it kind of down and around. I don't know if it's going to pull it out a bit. I don't think I can there because of the river, but I definitely can over here. So let's get the road set up then and see how far we're willing to push back before we incorporate that glorious train station. So go out there by an 11. So these can then become 10 by 10s and 10 by 10. Right, let's just kind of do a couple and see how comfortable we are willing to kind of then extend. I don't want it to do it too far away, but I also want to do it far away enough where it kind of serves a different purpose. I reckon. Because you also need to kind of clear a bit of the way for the train line to go through. I reckon about here wouldn't be too shabby. So if I brought this down by a 30, which one are we picking? Shall I go this one here, a 30? And then let's see what type of station we can maybe squeeze in. So if I did a very similar station where it's going to elevate over, I could, in theory, drop you directly there. These actually kind of fit in almost kind of nice. I could drop you there. It's only a short walk to the monorail if you wanted to get on it, but ultimately you're going the same way. And then we'll do like another form of network. It kind of goes up and down this way to get them into this area. Right, that leads out nice for that to kind of run down in this direction. And then we got to figure out where we're having the transition here. And then where the 4-lane road's going to go to transition over. So that's going to kind of fly over and then bend in. That's fine. How far until we have our next 4 lanes? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I reckon we do 7. Right. 8. 9. And then that 10th one will be the 11. Like how that's the 11. That makes sense? I hope so, guys. I hope so right now. So we have to do it like this. And that's our 4-lane road connection there. Oh, that makes this area quite big. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Right. We're just planning it out. The road network will probably look a little bit different to how it looks now. I'm just sorting out my grids. I'm just sorting out the grids, boys. Just sorting out the grids right now. So a station there is pretty handy. Station there is pretty handy. And obviously we're going to come out this way and go that way. We are going to try and run the cargo line with it as well. But that might be a bit different. It might kind of work a little bit differently in terms of it runs this way in front over the top and doesn't actually interact with the current line. I'm not sure how that's going to play out as of yet. No. Right, we're going to have to pause now. And we're going to have to delete all of this line. And then we're going to need to figure out next then where this station is then going to go. So we've got to figure out this system. So I know we've done a 40 here. So if I stuck with another 40 and then just kind of mimic what we've currently got here. So if I did another 40 there, that mimics that if I was to kind of end it. So you would argue the train station would need to be in the middle, but that might be a little bit too much because we're going to have a subway line that tears through this way anyway. So I reckon we put the train station here. Now, problem I've got is I'm using the same style of station. I don't know if to go for something a little bit different, like maybe like this. So this station here is an elevated island platform train station. One up, one down. Let's just take a look how this looks, and it fits kind of nicely within the system there. So it runs that way. That would work really well. I think that's my alignments for the 3 stations going around. Because we've got one here. And then our next one, we actually don't have any going through this area. And I don't know whether we should or not. I don't know whether we should. Does that mean we might need to elevate it? So it goes there to there. So in theory, what's stopping me just going this way round? And then back again? Because there's no need to go through this way. We'll think about adding one in around here somewhere. We will think about adding one in there somewhere at some point. So let me just figure out then where this line is going to run. So it might look a bit rough to begin with. So we'll keep it elevated. I'm assuming it's elevated by a... What is it elevated by? It's actually elevated by a 12. So if I just bring you out to there. And let me bring this going down as well. Because we've got to figure out... Right, where's the snap? We've got to figure out where the bend takes place, which it's looking like it's going to be around here as normal, which works out really well. So let me see what this looks like. It'll be a 9 by 9, which is not too bad. That works as intended, right? That works as it intends to be. And then how would we incorporate, because obviously this will continue to go over like that, but then how do we incorporate the cargo here? So in my head, I'm thinking we're going to have a double set of train tracks. Now, if this went across like this, is that too close? And does it look weird having the cargo? I want the cargo on the inside so I can kind of turn it into these areas where needs be. But I don't know whether having it that close is wise versus having it this close. Now, having it that close doesn't seem too bad then. It looks like it kind of aligns with the current system and it doesn't ruin the building too much. So I think having it that close kind of works. Kind of works. And let me run this with the same kind of system. Kind of works as well. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying it kind of works. We can have a little bit of imagination. Like that. So, keeps them all pretty much separate. So, if I just... Because we've got two lines coming... We've got multiple lines coming in here now, don't we? Right, so... If I deleted you and you... Deleted all of this... And then ran from the ground, you obviously want to go directly to there, but if I use the connection tool and go there to there, but let me just maximize the bend. I know it's going to be like a very, very minimal bend, but it'll look a little bit better, is what I'm saying. All right, this might take... No, that's as good as you're going to get it. That's as good as you're going to get it. Then we'll do there to there. And then we'll just maximize this. Which I think that works really... Why are you elevated? What's going on here? The game likes to do very interesting things at times. Very interesting things at times. Right, if I went there to... there... Right, no. Oh, but then again, this is kind of like on a slight bump as well. So maybe I need to also sort out that other side too. Are these the same angles? Not really. Let me go from there to there. Oh, I didn't... Wait, did I not select the first one? Right. Okay. What I'll do is just to make them the same height. How do I make them the same height right now? There was a way to do this, and I always forget how we do it. You and you. Is there a way to do this? Toolbox. To object height. To object height, we'll do you. Okay, maybe not. We'll raise them up. Right, they're the same. And then I'll make you be the same to object height as you. So then if I do my sloping system, so from there to, is it these two? There. That will always slope in the same gradient as this. Right, I forgot which one we selected. To here, I think. That's better. Now, it does sink down, which really does help out my roads that are going to flow over. So that's pretty sweet. Right, okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this rail line here, the passenger line, needs to come down to Earth. It does need to come down to Earth. So I think what I'll do is I'll raise it by 10 first. So we'll raise it by 10 to there. We'll keep you going because that one's going to stay elevated anyway. And if I picked this point, so if I went to about there, and then where would a bend here take place? There to there. And I'm hoping I can do a very simple V. So if I went there and I went then here, and then my very, very simple V, which I don't think is going to be that simple, is then going to slightly bend in. Slight bendy wendy. I'll bring both of these in a bit. Bring you in a bit. Bring you in a bit. Oh, I'm moving the tree. Right, the terrain makes it look a little bit weird at the moment, but don't worry about that. We've got the slopes look wild as well. Don't worry about that. But that all connects gloriously. And then what we need to do next is grab the elevation of here, which is going to be set to a 10. And I reckon what we do is we bring this over there. Let me bring it just to here. To where I should then be able to bend this, which is looking not that far off a 15 by 15. And then this ends up becoming a trumpet. So if I change... So if I go for a bend here, I do a 10 by 10. And then we bring it down to a 5. 10 by 10 down to a 0. And then we just need to do a... Oh, I need to bring it back a bit further, don't I? Which this road is then going to have to kind of bend down. And then we cross over. Again, that's completely fine. Because then we get access to this area as well. And we was going to run a highway around here as well, but I don't know whether to do that now. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Right, do I need to push this further back? I'm going to have to, because the drop also on that rail line needs to go a little bit further. So another 10, or should I do it like a 15? Let's do a 15. Because we are having to drop down quite low. So down to a 5. Down to a 0. And then let's go down to a -5 to there. And then we'll set up our glorious little bends. And then just kind of bend these in so we get the rail line coming in. So rail lines are all connected there, which is great. That bends round, and then it completely separates the cargo line and the passenger line. Even then going in, we have them all completely separate, so that works out really well. Right, let's just now sort out the monstrosity of our slopes. So from there, no, we'll go from here to here is completely fine, I reckon. Okay, maybe it wasn't. And then from there to there, that should be all okay. We'll do from here to there to that point. And then from there down to there. So the alignments are still a bit rough. I won't lie. I reckon we've got to go further back to get a better grip. No. No. It does drop down quite dramatically, doesn't it? It really does. Which is going to hinder my 4-lane road system as well. So if I get this to align to that object height, if I get that to align to that object height for just a second, if I run that 4-lane road coming through just for a moment, and if I pick a point to where, let's say I did another, that's a 40, right? Let's say I did another 40. And then from that 40, we set up on the 11 that road. That's just got to cross over here. So you're going to have an awkward bend anyway. I'll elevate that to make it look a little bit nicer. So if I do a 15 and then go through your bend here. A little bit of a bend. Like that. So that accesses this area. And then we kind of then want to do another connection roughly there. So I reckon we use the connection tool to designate the rest of it for us. Like that. So you get like this double system setup. Almost becomes like a really big roundabout in many ways. But it's just to kind of sort out the rail line. Right, I'm not a fan of this now probably sinking as much as it does. So I'm going to slightly raise you up to about there. I'm going to raise you up with it slightly. And then we'll sort out the gradients coming down from that. And vice versa going up from that as well. Going to slightly raise you. And slightly raise you. And slightly raise you for just a mo. I'm hoping I can get a better alignment from these by doing that. So there to there. It's still not amazing. So what if I went from there to here? Right, that could work a bit better. That's actually made that one go up. I might just fine tune this one to make it feel like it's okay. When of course it's not. That will do. That will kind of do. Right, we'll go there to there. We'll go there to there. And then we just got to do some smoothie, and then we're all good. We're all good, he says. That sorts this area out quite nice, except this bit. Right, hold on. And I got to change that style of road as well. So bring you up a bit as well. Change that style of road because it is not a great style of road. Oh, do I go bridge like that? I could do the same over here, actually. Nah, it looks ridiculous on that one. We'll keep it like this. No need for a grand bridge just yet. So, completely separates, like I mentioned earlier, my cargo line to my passenger line. It means that we've now made cargo have to escape this direction and can't come down from this direction. Like, as in, it comes in here. You would kind of almost have to do a bend just there for it to make a bit of sense. So I'll do that just for the sake of the cargo. And I will pick a... Let me just do this and then we'll quickly fine tune a bit better. Right, how does that look? It works. It's not pretty. But it works. It works. It's not pretty, but it works. But it just allows trains to come from this angle, turn in, to go onto the cargo line. That's all it really is. Right, let's sort out the smoothie then. I seen a comment last episode. I kept saying smoothie so much. One dude was like, damn it, Seniac, now I want a smoothie. Sorry. I do apologize. Right, smoothie. See, now I want a smoothie. Nice banana smoothie. Tasty. Right, there we go. Glorious. That is one hell of a junction. That train is going to have a big drop. Oh, hang on. Did I not sort out the alignments on this side? I think this is the final thing I've got to do in this area, and we can go back to all the other stuff. So if I run from there to there. Right, I think that's roughly it. Yeah, I'm not going to complain too much now. Right, so we have the cargo train station there, which I might now actually think about changing its kind of positioning alignment altogether. So I can now get rid of the original train line running through, because that now no longer needs to be here. Goodbye. And I could then reposition this somewhere else. So I could do it like right down here. I could do it here. I could do it over on this side just to kind of get it slightly out of the way. Or we've also got to think about how we're going to bring this in, which will be pretty much a nice turn and straight over. Or I can just keep it where it is. Is it causing that much of an issue that I should be worried about it? I don't actually think so. I think I'm just going to keep it where it is. And we've just got to then raise this up to a 10 over a 12, but we would need to incorporate a bend. Right, it's going to have to be an 11. And I reckon... Oh, I've also got to elevate quite high over this as well. So if I picked here to there to there, there we go. So this is just like really, really simplistic, really, really basic. There's no frills attached to this. It's pretty much just 90-degree turns, but it is a cargo area. We also need to remember that. And then I just do a 13-esque 13. Now, I'm only going to do it in one direction. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't think it would be a good idea to only do it in one direction. So let me do the same again in the opposite way. And just move you back there. Glorious. Because if it means taking cargo from here to, like, say, another stop over here somewhere, that works out really well as well. Look at this infrastructure we've got going in right now, boys. I'm enjoying this. I am enjoying this. So, in reality, the cargo lines will now technically work. I can then press play. And yes, they're going to delete themselves, and they're going to be all over the place. But they can now run back the cargo into here, as the lines are now connected. So, back into play mode then for everyone to understand what in the world is now going on. Now, it also means, I know we have a cargo stop there, but we could then now incorporate a cargo stop within this region because we have the facility to do that. we have a separate dedicated cargo line. So that is something that we're going to have to figure out eventually. Let's keep this running anyway with the elevation. And we'll just bring it to there. And then where is this going to run? So this is still all passenger, by the way. This is still my passenger line. So to bring you to there. And we're just going to figure out now how this is going to ultimately work. So if I came out by here... Oh, I don't want to delete all that stuff. Well, I know that's going to be my 11 space anyway. Right? I know that's what that's going to be. So if I just wiggle down a bit more. Just to give me that rough idea of where the alignment is. And where we're going to be taking it from. And then that is my 11 there. And this is going to cross over. Of course it's going to cross over. So that is going to run. So actually, let me do this one first. So bring you to there. Now, this is my passenger one, by the way. Let me delete you back. Am I going to run the cargo on the inside? Or do I allow... I might allow the cargo to now pass under. So if I go from the ground here... And then do it by a... It's a 12, isn't it? I got to do it by. So you continue going under, where this one's now going to bend. Over. And then now I can get trains from this cargo line to that cargo line without having to go all the way through this area. We've now just created a little bit of a shortcut route, which is huge, especially if you're trying to transport oil products. Or even farming products. I mean, actually, to be honest, farming products can kind of go around. Okay, it works either way. It's a benefit either way. So let me bring it to about there. And then we go this way. And then we go that way. So let's just sort out the big, glorious bend that needs to take place here. Versus you. So it's all there. Lines all up. Cargo trains are going to run gloriously. And let's just sort out some glorious alignment. Let's go to about there with it, with the gradient. That's better. Look at that's amazing. How they incorporate themselves. I'm a big fan. Cargo trains are also now coming in, which is fantastic news. It all links down to there. And then this line is going to run, obviously, coming then down and then into here is ultimately what it's going to do. Nice. Right, so we're going to keep this elevated for the most part to about, I reckon, there, and then we start thinking about bringing it down. And of course, I want to get it leading into this. Which that's going to be a bit of a funky bend, isn't it? I might kind of bring you out just so I can delete you and you. And you, delete you as well. So I can have slightly a larger bend. So a 14 by a 14, that works. Now this is all subject to change, of course. We could change it at any single point. And I think it would be pretty cool to eventually have the cargo junction happen around here. Where this comes down so far. And then my cargo line kind of merges onto this to bend out and round. I think that is probably going to be a better idea, but that's something for the future when I decide what I want to do with this area. Other than that, right, we're all good. Now, let's just get my new train stations all connected to power and water, because I don't think all of them are right now. And then we'll get the train line all up and running. Rocking and a-rolling. And hopefully passengers all moving about. So this is quite exciting. Now, I could, in theory, do something here. It's industrial, so I don't know how you would want to transition it. But I don't think I'm going to bother just yet until we figure out what we want to do. So we're just going to keep it simple. We're making sure the power's connected. So power connected there. We'll do power connected there for now with water extensions. I'd rather just get the train line all connected for now before we do anything else. Cargo trains doing. I don't think that is your 21 space in between these two. So we might see some train jams at some point. That's going to be quite a busy little run right there, isn't it? And let's now see about this passenger line. So the passenger line starts here on this side, which that doesn't share the ability to go out that way. I'm wondering if I just make it go back and forth to here, but I do it that way and then come back again, rather than creating individual loops. That's kind of funny, but I weirdly kind of like that. So if I picked you and then dropped you off directly there, so it goes back and forth at the same station, just on different platforms. And then I just make sure on each one of these, we have it stopping off. Interesting, right? Now, this is a different station altogether here. And then you. And then press play. Right. That's going to work a little bit differently now, this system. Now, the question then becomes, well, does it then make sense to incorporate a passenger line or passenger station within this vicinity? The answer is yes. Yes, it does. But now we can also start thinking about cargo a little bit differently. So we have separated all the cargo and passenger all the way down here, even then all the way down here. And it gets back to this point where they can crissy-cross, which I no longer want them to do. And then at this point, they're merged onto one singular line. So we can now keep these lines separate. And then here, we create the hookup with this line there. So I could kind of make this continue to cross over here, which goes into there, which I do my little V connection for industry, industrial cargo, and then passenger kind of comes in this way. That really actually works out pretty well. So if I was to sort that out now and pause again, because this is going to cause even more detrimental stuff now to happen. All right, keep that to about there. And then delete you. So just delete that for just a hot min. But how and where do these connect? So I could do something like that, where I can create a train bridge just there. And then that's all connected in. And as long as it runs into here now, we're all connected. So I can now officially delete the original line. This is now all gone. It's going to oof a bunch of trains. But I run it a little bit closer. It gives me a bit of space there to kind of build something within this and maybe run some, you know, a couple of cargo stops and whatnot. That runs down to there. But of course, I'm going to have to now utilize the parallel tool And how far do I allow it to go? Should we say about here to there? Bring this out. And I don't know how far makes sense. I don't know whether that is okay. I'm just going to call it there. Delete you. Okay, not far off. Not enough that I'm going to cry. Oh, I should have brought it down to here where I could then V just there. Yeah, I should have done that. Right, there to here, right? How do I flip it again? What do I do to flip? It's tab. All right, keep it going. Bam. I think it's all connected. Bring you to there. To where I do you there, and then you go there. This will be a simple bend. This, not so much. Right. Wonderful. And now we feel more integrated and connected. Don't you feel like that's a lot better? What we do lose is the ability for passenger trains to kind of run all the way through there. But we're only really using passenger trains locally and not to bypass the area. So all the other train lines have ultimately just become cargo lines is what we've done there. Now, I could run this to also go straight to kind of bend in for a connection, but there's no point because the end goal is they're meeting back up at this point. It's just one big loop. So I could connect it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it as it is. There's no point because, like I said, they enter from here and they go this way, they end there. If they come this way in, they end there. If they wanted to go straight across, they're still going to end up at the same point. You might as well just go back. So I think that's fine. I think that works. So that would have destroyed quite a few cargo runs. So that'll kind of generate back. But now putting the cargo on the outside here means I have access for all these areas, which has made life a little bit easier for us. Passenger trains are now separate from cargo trains. This couldn't have gone any better if I tried. And boy, oh boy, did I try. Right, we'll do some alignments right now. So that aligns a little bit nicer. Don't think I've got to do anything else anywhere else. But yeah, I could now start thinking about other train stations. So the idea then would be, well, does it then make sense to put a train station here? It kind of does, but it does put us a little bit further away. And you're probably then starting to think about just like normal stations. Elevated. I don't want elevated. Just normal train stations. Which, to put that on this line, is probably a little bit too close to there. You would want it over there, which means you have to kind of like almost make it bypass. Is there no other like better train stations? So ships, metro, train hubs. Yeah, we've got all these to utilize. That's the bus and train. We've got the train metro hub. These are hubs. Oh, this could actually work in a weird way. And it could only really work because... Let's just say I dropped you down in the center. It works because I could align multiple train tracks into it while still keeping that system. But then, wouldn't we want it to be in line with the cargo train station? So it's a little bit off-centered, but it's in line with this and gives me enough space to run my train lines. It's completely overkill, that is what I'm going to say. It's completely overkill, but it could work out really well. Now, does that spread? Yeah, it does spread the power, so I can get rid of these. Right, just bear with me again, okay? I just want to see how this ultimately works. So a 30, 26, 20... 16, 10. That's how you want it, right? I'll just bend this one out a bit more. So can I remember those numbers? No chance I'm going to remember those numbers. I think it was a... No, 30, that was 30-ish. 30... Was it a 26 or a 24? 20. 15-ish. 10. It's not far off, okay? It's not far off. It does the job. Now, what is more annoying? The fact that it doesn't centralize this? Or if I did centralize it, then this wouldn't centralize this. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be more annoying. I don't know what I'm going to find more annoying. But what I can now do, and I'm going to bring it to the most inner side, and I can do it to the most outer side just for the fun of it, is then have multiple trains running there. Interesting, okay? I like it. Leave me alone. Don't bully me. Don't bully me right now. But that adds another station just over here. I know this is within walking distance, but it's kind of handy. And then we don't get our next one until over there. So you could argue one over here, but I'm not particularly too sure what I'm going to do with this area. Now, I obviously know there's roads involved. So I could run you down. I could run you down there to there. Is there a way in which a station could be dropped? As simple as a station could be. That's very small to squeeze in there. You're probably looking at one of these little kind of like Japan style ones. That's not far off. That's elevated. That's out of the question. Where's my rural one? The historic one. You're asking a lot there, aren't we? We are asking quite a lot. We're asking quite a lot from this. Now, these are all hubs, so these are not what we're after. But that one's too far. That one could work. Right, pause for a second. And let me delete this. Just to there. Let me incorporate you here. And it's going to look a little bit funky. So give me a second. We can make it look a little bit more magical. How do I go into underground mode? There we go. We fake it till we make it, okay? Fake it till you make it, boys. Fake it till you make it right there. Right. So where's the 40? The 40's here. That's where you would normally end the connection. So if I just ended that like that, I then have another train connection in for this area. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but we'll see. Right, waiting for the train line to up. No, get rid of you. Train line's now connected and all updated. Let's just get the water in over here. And of course, some glorious power, which we'll bring from over there. So, it's handy. This area doesn't really have a train line. That's fine. It does have, you know, buses and the metro system. So, it's not all doom and gloom. We could start to extend the metro system now in general, as we've got new areas that we can now connect up to. So that's worked out really well. So we've just now inadvertently created a more fluid and connected city. You'll now start seeing people loading themselves up on both platforms as they want to kind of transport themselves to here, there, and everywhere. And cargo trains are running beautifully as well, turning in. Passenger trains are running gloriously as well. It's magic. It almost brings a tear to your eye, guys. Almost brings a tear to your eye right now with these systems. So ideally, we've got our cargo stop there. It would be nice to have a cargo stop around here, which we can quite easily now do, which is glorious. Same for this area. I know we got one over there for this area, but just adding something in over here, just kind of, you know, bulk it up a bit more. Yeah, this is really, hopefully, is going to solve a lot of the traffic issues. Still need to do some overpasses, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of traffic going back and forth here. And definitely need a cargo stop around this area to kind of like support this section. But like I said, the great thing is we have a separate train line which you can add to it, which is amazing. There is a freight train there looking like it's filled to the brim with oil products. Nice. Amazing. Right, you can't argue this. This has turned out really well. Told you the big mega projects can now begin. I'm just doing our big cargo project next. Right, I would like to see, can I fast forward? A passenger train use this system. This is a bit funky. Don't get me wrong, it's a bit funky. But I'd like to see a passenger train come into here, please. Where's my passenger trains? So line overview. Let's add some more train. Let's double the amount of trains, just for the sake of making it look a little bit more lively. There we go. There's a train now coming in. Beautiful. And obviously uses the other kind of platform to go the opposite way. Fantastic. And there's the other train now coming in. Anybody getting off? Oh yeah, you know what? Fair few people getting off there, so it is kind of handy. Now, it'd be nice to do some walkability, some overpasses to get to the farming area from the train station as well. That would be amazing. And we need to think about this everywhere because these little road junctions, that one's a bit jazzy, if you ask me, from all these additional connections with Anarchy. We need to kind of stop the crossing and do some overpasses as well. That's going to be very, very vital, very, very important. And how is the airport now looking? I know we've got to level 2. We've got a lot of passengers using it, so we could now start thinking about adding all the extra gates and stuff and attractions to increase the attractiveness score, which will be handy. A lot of them are now using my brand new underpass to get to the racetrack, which is very good. Does nobody want to use these? Has somehow that become a shorter route? Have I inadvertently created a shorter route with that? Or is it just a case that maybe they can't utilize this? Well, I don't know. I might need to double check that at some point. Might need to double check it. But very good, boys. Very good right now. Making lots of money. And in terms of the transit network, we only really have a few people a week utilizing the trains. These numbers don't seem right. Oh, that's tourists. That's why. I'm looking at the tourist section. Only 73 people a week using trains? I'm sure I've seen more than that. Just get off one of the stations. But they seem to love the monorails more than any... Oh, no, it's buses they love more than anything else. Then it's monorails. Then it's the subway. Then it's trams. Then it's trains. And I can't believe this. Only 9 people a week using planes. Yeah, those numbers don't seem right because... I'm seeing quite a few people getting on and off. There's like 28 on that train alone right now. Absolute lies right now. And there's 314 passengers were served last week from this station alone. So maybe I just got to wait a little bit longer for those values to update a little bit more. Anyway, we will end it here. This has become quite a glorious system right now. And we now have an elevated train network running through our city. So we'll end it here. I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I see you all soon. So goodbye.